How many of you have experienced more anger and frustration around money as an entrepreneur than you have ever experienced before with money? As opposed to when you were receiving or when people is receiving a paycheck in their 9 to 5 jobs. Well, let's talk about it in today's episode, all about financial trauma and how to clear it in this next 20 minutes.
Hello and welcome to the Money Mindset Show, the place where we help female entrepreneurs to transform their mind so that they can achieve financial success in the least amount of time. Here, we talk about subconscious mind, we talk about money mindset chips, money mindset blocks, a strategy so that you can bypass your own money mindset and increase your income, better your relationship with money, and grow your business. On this podcast, our unique goal is for you to walk away with a different perspective and with a different set of thoughts, beliefs, and mindset that helps you in your journey to achieve financial success.
Ever felt like your journey to financial freedom through your business is an endless effort of trying to feel like an old piggy bank? Like no matter how much you try, it is never enough to achieve your dreams? Well, you're not alone. And this is because financial trauma. Now take our quiz to uncover which of the 4 types of financial traumas as an entrepreneur are blocking your path to real financial freedom and start transforming your business into the powerful tool for financial independence you have always dreamed of. Go to themoneymindset.com/quiz. You want to take the quiz right now because the longer that you wait is the longer that you sabotage your efforts every day with your business towards financial freedom. Discover how to turn all of those efforts into success today. Just go to themoneymindset.com/quiz. When someone expresses that their relationship with money has changed since becoming a business owner, and that in fact that their relationship with money has changed since becoming a business owner, and that in fact this journey of building a business, of having the responsibility of creating that financial freedom path is creating the financial trauma, I can relate like so deeply and in so many ways, in so many different levels, because I saw my mother going through this situation with a product-based business. So when I see that, I have to speak about it, and I have to also provide a shift, which is going to be far more useful for you to hear than only carrying this anger and frustration. Because the reason why you started with your business and you started in this financial freedom path, it had to be a pretty good reason for you to stand up and continue going. So I just want to bring a shift and a light. And I know, like from close first-hand experience because of my mom, how this will play out most likely. So for me, it became a generational trauma that I had to work through. That's the other side. I saw it on my mom playing out, but at the same time, it became a generational trauma for me. And I had to work through with the different product-based businesses that I had created over the past 10 years. So, by the way, if you still don't know what type of financial trauma may be getting on the way of your financial freedom, I encourage you to go and take the quiz I have done for you. In a couple of questions, you will get clear on what is the type of trauma out of the 4 type of trauma in entrepreneurship. to work towards and to clear out that will get you the most advanced in your journey. So you may have generational, contextual, self-reflective, or the other type of trauma that right now I'm missing the name, but there are 4 of them, and you can find out which one is your predominant when you take the quiz and what to do to clear out, because once you do that, then the whole way it's much easier. Okay, so let's be very honest on this conversation, because many financial freedom literature, many financial freedom articles and books and things that are over there have romanticized, and I don't even know if that's a word, but have made it so romantic, this thing around business ownership as the tool to get to that path to financial freedom. I teach you how to make 100K in 6 months. I teach you how to make 100K in 3 months. I teach you how to get your financial freedom next day, and all of these things. But the guidance and support of what that, like, this means mentally, emotionally, and strategic with money, like, that's what I work, my MESS framework, mentally, emotionally, and strategic with money, it's not really there. It is all about showcasing the quote unquote romantic side of business, the financial freedom path. But what it does in these 4 different aspects of money, mentally, emotionally, strategically, and the synergy of all of them is not really there. And that is causing big trouble for many entrepreneurs. So feelings like anger, and even resentment add some pressure to the financial journey that is absolutely not useful in an environment where we are fundamentally, and let me repeat that, it is not useful, these feelings of anger and resentment that adds pressure to the financial journey, because it's not useful when we are in an environment where we are fundamentally changing the identity we have created or we have been building when we were the effortless receiver. Like, since we were little kids, we have been building this identity, we have been building these beliefs, we have been building everything that we know to be like real and the path to quote unquote safetiness with money, and has nothing to do with entrepreneurship. At least 80% of the entire world has nothing to do with entrepreneurship. So we are already triggering everything by just coming into this path. And when you add anger and resentment and that pressure that those feelings bring to the table by itself, then it becomes absolutely useless to have them. And useless to have them because you have to go from the quote unquote effortless receiver end of the money. And like, I want you to imagine that you have like a weight, and in one side of the weight, you have the effortless receiver end of the money equation. And then in the other side of the weight, you have the creator or the seller side. So you are jumping from one side to the other one by just being a business owner. And that is 2 sides. There are factual sides of the money equation. For money to exist, for financial system to exist, for the economy to move, you gotta have receivers, buyers, and you gotta have creators, sellers. That's the whole point, factual point of this. So here what I use like the language that I have used, because that is going to start clearing up trauma for you. You have gone from 9 to 5, quote unquote, effortless receiver end of the money. No matter what you do, you jump into your job, you have been hired, you do what you do, but at the end of the month, you're going to have the 9 to 5. You don't have to be worried about how that is going to come. Effortless receiver. And everything has prepared you for that. Everything since the education at home through the education in school, through college, through everything else that you see. And then you're gonna jump, or when you have a business, when you are business owner, you have flipped to the other side, to the quote unquote creator or seller side. What do we know about this? What do they teach us about that? It is not the same set of beliefs. It is not the same set of strategies, ideas, and it's certainly not the same type of emotions and ways to refer to it. And here is the thing. When we grow up, we are being prepared to be a good fit for the most predominant system of financial sustainability, which is a 9-to-5 job or working for an employer, whatever you want to call it. Everything that you do, it is setting you, it is setting a tone. It is setting you up for when you have a job. It is building like a Lego piece by piece for when you have a job and have to respond to the orders, have to respond to the deadlines, have to respond to the results, have to respond to whatever. So you first learn basic behavioral norms that will facilitate your adaptation in a work environment, right? And this happens pretty much since you are 2 years old or so. I think even before. Well, I'm about to tell you because I'm now as a mom and in this journey of mompreneurship, I am going to find out so many of those subconscious narratives that I have when it's the moment for me to pass it down to my kid. But let's say that you have been consciously being fed up and being built this way since you are 2 years old or so. And then you go to school, a place where you learn that is so much and that knowledge that you it's so much things that a school teaches you intentionally and unintentionally, directly and indirectly. But you also learn one essential thing that differs from those effortless, quote unquote, effortless receivers to the creator or seller side. And is that you learn how to follow a path, orders and ways of doing. That, I think, in itself is the most important knowledge that a school installs on everybody, to follow a path, to follow certain orders and ways of doing. And I think most of us can relate when we see it from the outside now, when we see it from the other perspective, like, oh yeah, I went to grade 1, 2, 3, whatever is the graded on your school. I had to pass some test so that I had to prove that I know how to receive orders and respond to it. I know how to be a team player because somebody else told me to be a team player. I know how to follow a path because if I go into this exam, into this test, and do this according to what they have told me, then I'm going to pass. There is some serious underlying things being programmed since you are a very little. And it is not about being right or wrong. It's about not being useful when you have to shift to the other side of the money equation, which is the creator and seller. Because those buyers out there, those people that are being continue being programmed and continue being like in this world of 9-to-5 or employer situation, they need that. They need you to be the one that puts that path. They need you to be the one that gives orders, quote unquote, orders by really presenting your products and services. So you cannot be like them. You have to go to the other side, to the creator side, which nobody has taught you, or nobody has taught you for as long as they have told you how to be a buyer, what really that means. And that is attracting and creating and magnetizing that feelings like anger, frustration, and others come to your path. And your brain, as smart as it is, it will say, you know what, this is costing me too much. I'm just going to go to my old ways. And that's the end of the story. So they prepare you to be proactive, but not so much that goes out of the ways of doing that they have told you before. They price your efforts. They cultivate your ability to listen and follow as stated. Oh, my goodness. So mine have now created pride because pricing your efforts in the way that they said it. That mine has created safety around following a path and easiness around working within those guidelines so that you can survive in today's economy. One more day. That's all the brain cares about. One more day. You have survived one more day. So that's really all that matters to mine. But when it comes to business ownership, and what we could have observed is that there is a set of skills required to create that, if you want to call it new safety, but to me, it's really to create that safety and that easiness of money when being an entrepreneur. One that shifts your focus from being safe because you have a consistent income or because you have a job to one that is predictable way of creating money or creating income with your business. You see how different it is? It's all about understanding what is useful for what type of content. So as long as you have a contract with your employer, you are creating that predictable income, quote unquote, predictable income, regardless of really what else happens. Like you have to have behavioral causes, really, really deep issues for somebody to break a contract, right? Or for you to doubt the ability of that contract to deliver the money at the end of the month. That's what I'm trying to say here. But with entrepreneurship, there is no contract involved. And there is not way to immediately, by holding this object that is contract, you predict your income. But there is other ways, and that's what when creating safety comes around. There is other ways to create safety that are appropriate for the context of entrepreneurship. And that is when things like, okay, financial tools come to play, money planning come to play, sales projections come to play, different marketing strategies come to play, but it's all about letting go of what that, or more than letting go, reframing, because I don't think that is such a thing as letting go, but reframing the concept of safety that have been building up inside of you since you were a little kid. So one that shifts the narrative from I have so many bills to pay or everything is invoices and I must like I need to be the one paying and paying to one that sees that even in those moments money is flowing and you are creating actively even when you see that money is quote unquote leaving your account. I have done an amazing episode around this on money flowing. So go and check it out. It's episode 107 or 105. I think it's going to be 107. I will put it for sure, link it on the show notes. So if we just go to the show notes and you can go to this episode because I have done an amazing job explaining into flowing and what I really mean with this that I just said. But here is the thing. Remember, all emotions are installed Like they are in human's body to get us to do something. And anger, that emotion of anger is created when zebra needs to bite harder. And when I first discovered this, my whole mind opened up because, funny story, I was one of the kids at my school that will bite the most and the hardest. All the time. My mom will have notes from my kindergarten. She bite this person, she bit that person, and blah, 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 every single day. Now, no wonder why, right? Kids, especially me as a kid that didn't talk, but it was just more actions, have to express, right, their emotions some way. Like, oh my goodness, like this kid was so frustrated, so angry, and naturally, biologically, mind created anger to bite harder. So every time that you bite, it's just like all of your power goes in there when you're angry. That's everything that mind is trying to do. Mind produces anger so that jaw can get stronger and zebra can overpower its predator. Zebra is walking on a savanna in Zimbabwe, and then lion comes and just bothers, and it's out there. Well, two things. Fear makes zebra legs to hit stronger and to run faster. But if it is the case that lion gets to her, she's angry. Angry because this stupid lion has to bother her. She's angry, and mind is creating anger so that her jaw can bite harder. So that jaw can just grab and not let go. And mind takes all of the oxygen, all of the blood flow from everywhere else and just focuses on biting harder. So zebra needs to be angry. It needs to be angry so that jaw maximize the grip of her bite and predator feel that nobody can messes with zebra. Isn't that incredible? I mean, once we understand why, the reason behind is like, oh my God, yeah, that makes so much sense. So when you are in a 9 to 5 job, following what you have been prepared to do since very young, the chances of my perceiving a predator, let's talk about it in financial system or today's economy, that needs to be beaten the head out are so much lower. That is not really a predator, right? You probably only get angry when your payment is delayed, when an unexpected deduction comes through, or something of that sort. That will be a threat, right? But it's not that you are constantly there like, I need to be angry, right? Mind doesn't need to create that feeling to bite somebody's head off, because there is no, you have created some safety around that. So can you imagine literally trying to bite your invoices and like everything that happens in your business head off? And like, I'm literally imagining biting the paper, like, ugh, because it is frustration. It is so frustrating and it creates so much angriness. In this path called entrepreneurship. I mean, what we want is to get that flow of blood and oxygen back to the things that are really useful and fuels your journey with your business towards financial freedom, like creativity, intuition, opportunities overview, and these things that are the real currency of entrepreneurship. You always will have money as a business owner. If that is your belief, I honestly think everything else was shaped from that. But you know what is the currency? The alarm on Hotline is ringing out every Monday at 12 p.m. This happens. and I have not gotten used to this yet. And it's such a subconscious trigger. Like, I've been in this middle of recording this podcast and this happens. And I immediately felt the blood flowing. It's such a subconscious trigger that I'm going to do another episode about this. Now that we're talking about subconscious things and emotions. Wow. So what we want is to get the flood of blood and oxygen to these real currencies, creativity, intuition, opportunities, overview, everything that will advance your business, everything that needs to be in place from you as the creator to provide solutions for those with the buyer mind. So here's where we pivot this trauma. What can you do today to find more proof that business ownership is a safe path for you? What can you adapt today that will create the safe environment other that what have been created for you around money since you were 2 years old? And one way to really shine a light on this is to pinpoint where this trauma may be coming from, if it is only contextual about entrepreneurship, or if it is something else combined, generational, self-reflectional, contextual. Just go and take the quiz and you find out. Go to themoneymindset.com/quiz. Like I've said before, I have found working within a framework to really address these traumas where I can lead my business objectively and I can clear this stuff coming out as soon as they come to my attention. It is my antidote. Like my, how you say that in English? Antidote? Well, I can clear this stuff. It is really my remedy. That's why I have created Money Unleashed, where I walk you through the biggest money mindset shift that you have to do. I give you the different stages to look up, putting that objectively framework with your business. And then I give you the framework, like what to do step by step, exactly on what state, so that you can clear that financial trauma and advance with your business towards financial freedom. And you can get into this secret podcast now if you go to themoneymindset.com/framework. Okay, so to recap what you can do today to get or to clear this junk out. First, find the proof that you are creating a different definition of safety nets and income prediction and flow of money. Go and listen to episode, I think it's going to be 107, but I am going to leave it on the show notes so that your mind can start to get that it is not only about how it is right now, how they have been told you that it is since you were a little kid, but it can be in a different way. So start finding the proof, start going and seeing how these other entrepreneurs are doing, start start conversations with people that have been in the entrepreneurial world for a longer time. How have you done it? What is your take on this? Be curious. Start finding the proof that this is happening for you. And I give you a hint that I didn't give you before. The fact that you have been for longer than a year on business means that you have that proof within yourself. You don't have to find it externally. But if you cannot find it within yourself, if you cannot be in that position of, oh, I have done this, I have overcome that. When this bill came, this is how I did it. I'm finding the proof. Then start from the external and then go to the internal. And number two, always, and what works best for me, use a framework that will allow you to mirror what are the narratives that comes from that financial trauma and what are the steps that you can take so that your business doesn't get affected by those narratives. The way I do that is following the framework that I call Money Unleashed. And if you want to get your hands on that, you can go to themoneymindset.com/framework and it's going to be there for you.
Okay, but before I let you go, did you know that you have a space where your money mindset work is made extra simple so that you can increase your income, better your relationship with money, and grow your business in such a simple and easy way? Go to themoneymindset.hub.com and choose your path and start making those changes easily and effortlessly. That is themoneymindset.hub.com. Ahora sí, wealthy soul, if you love this episode, don't forget to leave a review down below. It will help me to help more wealthy souls to transfer their money mindset.